So you went to PAX South.
I did. I went to PAX South.
I don't think you got to venture out. One of the things that I was interested to get people's feedback on was the Nintendo Switch.
There were a lot of people there wearing an original Super Mario T-shirt that they received no more than 2 days before that in their loot crate.
Yeah.
Talking how much they loved the Switch.
So they were conned into saying they loved the Switch.
But they had some demo space for it. VR was number one there. It was seriously 60% of the booths were VR. I'm not as into the electronic side of gaming as I am the tabletop side of gaming.
Yeah.
I did get one full walk around the floor, and then after I knew the booths that I would visit again, there was a pretty good indie games showroom in this center, which was nice. A lot of people, I heard a lot of Raspberry Pi talk after pricing and all that. Well, you can do that with the Raspberry. So that was my big takeaway was Retro Pi. I heard a lot. I was right next to the Overwatch tournaments. I didn't realize there was a $10,000 pot in an Overwatch tournament going on.
Damn.
There were more people watching people play Overwatch than there were people playing board games.
Yeah.
But it was nice. There's not quite as much cosplay as there is at some of our other cons we go to, and you get a lot of the same people because they're just doing games for the most part.
Yeah. The more popular costumes, I guess.
Well,
or more popular games.
Yeah, and there are a lot of ones that I don't know what they are too, because I don't do too much of the online gaming or PC gaming. So there were a lot of people. I would say there's 20 to 25,000 people in there per day. I had my beeline straight to the Steve Jackson game booth where I checked in and started doing demos and stuff. It was interesting. Our second day there. My shift started at 10. Garcia started at noon, but he came over and Ubered with us anyway. I was supposed to work game demos, which this one, and a lot of times you have an area for their storefront, and then you have the demo area for games. They had like 6 little pillars set up in their game booth area where they could teach certain games. And then in the free-to-play tabletop area, we would set up there as well and just teach people how to play certain games. But on that Saturday, I came in, and you were here when Garcia taught me Ogre.
Yeah.
Well, it was an Ogre tournament on Saturday. And
did you pick up enough in that period of time to
no. But where I did pick up the time was when they came over and says, "Hey, we need a quick way to tally a point system for Ogre if it doesn't end in time." And I was like, well, what's our time per round? And I was like, 45 minutes. And I was like, no one's finishing this game in 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So we worked with the guys at Steve Jackson and came up with the resources we had, in paper and handouts they would already have, to identify a point system and be able to break it down very easily for them, so they would know how to their win conditions essentially. Doing that, I am very well versed in Ogre now.
Yeah.
And it only took, you put me and Garcia on something that's game related, and I can make a spreadsheet, and we're all happy. So,
well, you can make a spreadsheet. What did Garcia attach explosive to?
Well, Garcia had all the resources
or what
necessary.
Did he break?
Yeah.
He had all the points for all the army units and stuff from another version of the game. So we kept those because it was easy to calculate. And then we just assigned values to the different guns on the Ogre. We only had 6 players join the tournament, 3 veterans and 3 noobs. The 3 noobs won the first round. One of the noobs wasn't really a noob, though, because it was his dad's favorite game.
Okay.
So when you have a kid who's playing his dad's favorite game, he knows more about that game than most. But the guy that was sitting across from him, I think he may have slightly gotten played with the kid, like, oh, I don't play this game, blah, blah, and
you rope-a-doped him, yeah.
But
hustled him.
Got a little hustle, but he ended up winning it, which was cool. They did a plastic, almost see-through crystal-looking Ogre. They had custom made. It looks like a circuit board for the winner, and then they had a bunch of the command posts made. So Garcia and I each got a command post, which was kind of cool.
Nice.
I got that before I owned the game, and then everyone who won their first round got to keep their game too, which was pretty sweet. So.
Oh wow! Yeah, free games.
And then they had a bunch of other giveaways. There was a Munchkin tournament going on right behind me, When I was done with mine, I jumped over and helped out on that, which was a lot easier for me because Munchkin's Munchkin.
Yeah.
But the girl that won that tournament has at least 4 times more Steve Jackson games than I do. Like, there was so much stuff in this prize pool. It was ridiculous, but it was busy. It was a lot of fun. I'm going back next year.
Yeah.
I told him I'd be willing to come back, but I want to negotiate one day to myself.
Yeah.
So I'll be like, I'll come in Friday, and I'll spend either Friday and Sunday working or Saturday, Sunday, and get my Friday. That way I can go do what I want to do. But it was laid back, pretty chill, met a lot of cool people, had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Didn't spend too much money, so that was nice.
Yeah.
Well, when you're working the entire time.
Yeah, I mean, I had – well, the bad thing was the way the shifts were set up. I would go in at 10, and I'd work from 10 to 1, and then I'd have from 1 to 2 or 1 to 3 off, and then come back in for 2 or 3 more hours, and then an hour off. But the schedules kind of went out the window on day 2 because there were 6 of us. Saturday was tournament day, and we really had no time for anything else. We didn't even do game demos that day in the game room. But the game library was very, very impressive. It was larger than this room with games stacked from the top of the table to about 2 feet above it. I'm waiting for a roller coaster ride to get to a checkout, and you just hand them, I want these 5 games to play for today. And they took your ID.
Cool.
They put a barcode on the games and a barcode on your badge, and those were your games for the day. Bring them back, swap them out, do whatever. So we got to play a few games. I only got to play 2 games, this one being 1, Poker Assault, and the other one, I don't remember the name of it, but it was kind of fun. Yeah, I think it's more centered towards what I do with gaming, but I wish there was a little bit larger of a board game presence there. There was a 10 to 12 indie game booths in the dead center, but it was surrounded by VR, so it was kind of a pain in the ass to get to.
Yeah.
I usually come away from cons of that size, and we have hours of conversation on how we'd make it better. I don't have that with this one. It was pretty well streamlined. The $9 pieces of pizza were a piece of shit, but I mean, you're at a convention.
Yeah. You're gonna get.
I just got swamped that day.
off.
And the cool thing about it was right across the street is the mall, and the mall has a massive food court. So if you had 20 minutes to get away, you're not stuck.
That's nice.
So, if we were to do that next year, that's one of those things where it's like, I'm not going to spend $20 on food here. I'll walk 2 blocks across the street, and I went and got my little bourbon chicken for $9.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Some Cajun Kelly's
Yeah,
bourbon
exactly.
chicken for.
Yeah, I think this
you
year's.
get the small one for $6.99 if you try enough samples.
Oh, nice.
Try a sample.
But yeah, it was packed. I mean, even in there, I sat down at a table while people were picking their stuff up off the table, kind of thing. And then someone did the same to me. As soon as I got up to go back over, someone sat down right behind me. But they were setting up events for people to go watch. Was it Resident Evil? I think came out last weekend.
Yeah.
My lanyard was actually a Resident Evil lanyard. But they were doing all sorts of pretty cool stuff. I didn't get to do a lot of it because I was working. But
Yeah.
Good con.
I think the plan for this year is that I'm definitely anything George R. Brown. I'm taking the cooler again.
Yeah.
Like I did the first year.
Yeah.
Getting away for food was the biggest thing because you don't really want to leave and you don't really want to go anywhere and you don't want to get gouged for a crappy barbecue sandwich.
Well, that and it may be different this year because when we go, it'll be remodeled and 3 to 4 of those places in the front will be restaurants.
Yeah.
Higher price restaurants, but they're going to be daily restaurants there around the park. So
Yeah, but I mean, with how long that we're there, what I'm thinking is like I was definitely on agreement with you because when you did that, we had the drinks and stuff, and you got away, which was nice to get away. So I planned on doing the cooler in the car, and that way we're usually there for 3 meals.
yeah,
So one meal I wanted it. There's like that one row restaurants if you do a little walk. So like if I really need a good meal, I'll walk that way. Otherwise, I'm going to the car.
there's
I figure
also
like we do-
Papacitos in
like
the
we
hotel.
do like we do with every Comic Palooza. It's kind of like let's take the family out to dinner. Let's do this.
Yeah.
That's always a good thing.
And
but
you do it at the end,
Yeah,
Like, that
it's
way,
usually at the end of the show.
if we're eating in the car and then we're like, all right, let's go play some more games at like 2:00. Spanish Flowers open. Let's let's all go there.
Well, that and you're 2 blocks from the Riverwalk from where you're at. That was one of the worst things and the best things about the location. Parking was worse than George R. Brown.
Was it worse than Dallas?
Yes. It was the worst parking situation we've been in. I only parked one day. The other days we Ubered from the hotel. We were at 1 mile away, no big deal. But there was a WWE thing going on right across the freeway, like literally 3 blocks away across the freeway. You have the Alamo 3 blocks away. You have the Riverwalk 2 blocks away. So all that stuff compounded. You have that thing we went up in, Kyle, to take pictures at, like the Needle.
Yeah.
It's right there. And you remember how that big triangle you have to drive to even get around to that?
Okay, yeah.
So all that is behind the convention center. So you essentially have one road in and out, and then 3 or 4 blocks going off of that. And every block you hit something else. The Alamo, the Riverwalk, the IMAX. So it's not easy to park at.
Yeah. I mean, when we were vacationing there, was it the year before last?
I parked in the same lot.
Oh, yeah?
The lot we used to go to the Alamo was the closest $20 lot I could find on Sunday.
Oh, that wasn't a $20 lot when we used it.
I know. And it was closed.
$6 all day.
I actually looked at the security dude, and he was just kind of sitting there chilling in his golf cart. And, like, it's like, do not enter closed. And I was like, I pulled in, and I was like, man, I was in that lot and couldn't find a spot, and I saw 3 in this one. He's like, $20. So...
So are you getting paid enough to really care about this problem right now?
Yeah. And 2 people came in behind me, and then after that, he went, and I guess maybe I said the number 3, and that was what he remembered. He went and moved the cone and started shaking his head at people. Like, no,
like
y'all aren't doing this again.
I like a non-communicative security guard just shaking his head.
But, yeah, I just had to do it the one day. I gave up my morning shift on Sunday. And only worked an afternoon shift just because Saturday was so busy. And I ended up going down with 3 or 4 friends. And Saturday, I saw both of them in the morning before I left to go in. And then I did not see them again until Sunday morning. Peter played a 2-headed giant tournament with one of his friends, and I went and checked on him. And then Mark, you saw the bag of loot. And he would come to the Steve Jackson game and check in. Yeah, it was funny because he walked in with me and Garcia and Jessica, the other MIB. And she immediately starts demoing Batman, the dice game. And then we start talking to her a little bit later, and she's like, oh, yeah, Mark bought the dice game. I'm like, oh, that was one of the 16 games he got. So, but there was a cool anime-themed deck-building game at one of the indie tables not far from Steve Jackson. And I know he played that, and then he did a learn-to-play on a game called Evolution. That the world kind of changes as you play it and stuff. So I'm looking forward to the games he got.